On Monday, California Governor Gavin Newsom declared himself and his wife to be victims of President Trump and the Justice Department.
To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen, a public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls.
So without saying what was being investigated, Newsom also failed to mention a key detail, that the Biden DOJ began investigating people in his orbit as early as 2022, 4 years ago, including his former chief of staff, who ultimately pled guilty to fraud and other charges in May. Back in March, the Daily Mail ran a story claiming that Governor Newsom's wife and her firm pocketed more than $3 million from a gender stereotypes charity. For more on this, we're joined by the Daily Mail's chief investigative reporter, Josh Boswell. Josh, great to see you. So what made you look into Newsom's wife in the first place, and what did you find?
Well, there are just always a lot of questions that seem to be swirling around the Newsoms and their finances, have been for years. And so I thought, this is a man who clearly is going to be running for president. This is worth looking at, what their finances are, what the shape of them are. And so when I had a look at Jennifer Newsom's charity, I found that she was paying herself since 2012 $3.7 million. This is a lot of money when you look at the amount that the charity brings in. It's sort of 1 to 1.7 million a year. And she's paying up to a third of that to herself and her own company, $300,000 a year. Now, that is, I did a bit of data analysis looking at what charities that size usually pay their executives. And she was in the top 5% of all charities in the nation for pay.
So DOJ, of course, doesn't comment on the specifics of this. We've really only heard from Gavin Newsom claiming this investigation is targeting them, even though, as we mentioned, it started in 2022 in his orbit. Do you think that the charity is the reason DOJ might be investigating her?
There's a whole bunch of reasons, potentially. There are a lot of questions around their finances. So the charity could be one of them. Now, it is legal for a charity to pay whatever they want to their executives. But one of the issues they might be looking at is, who are the donors to the charity that are financing that pay? What kind of relationships do they have with the California government that Newsom is in charge of? There's also, if you look at his income, and he's released at least, partly to journalists in closed-door viewing sessions, his tax returns. And if you look at that, his income, it's about 1.2 to 1.4 million a year. And it just doesn't add up for all of his expenses. He's got massive mortgages, $625,000 in mortgage payments. He's got at least $1 million in living expenses. And the two just don't add up. I would be interested in that if I were an IRS investigator. One other thing to look at here is the way that his property transactions are structured lead to a lot of questions. When he bought his $3.7 million Sacramento estate, it was done through an LLC, but that LLC doesn't seem to have appeared on his tax returns. There's all kinds of questions of why he would do it that way, and he hasn't answered those satisfactorily. So if I'm IRS, I'm looking at that too, thinking maybe there's an issue here. We've yet to see what the actual details are, of course.
Well, I'm sure we will learn more about this in the future. But before I let you go, it's been announced that you're going to CBS. Congratulations. Of course, there's a lot of changes happening over at CBS. Scott Pelley was fired. What are you thinking? And why did you decide to go to CBS given the changes?
Well, I mean, it's a fantastic organization, and I am so thrilled to be going there. I'm really excited. I start on Monday, and I really admire TV journalists like yourself. It's a hard job to do. I relish that challenge, and I think that there are world-class journalists at that organization. So I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Well, we will certainly be watching your work, and maybe we'll have you back to talk about the Newsom family. Josh Boswell, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your investigation.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.